everyone, and thanks for joining us for a fast chat hosted by wardsauto.com. I am Maite Bezerra, Principal Analyst in Software-Defined Vehicles for Wards, and I'm joined today by Vikram Patel, who is a Senior Director of OEM Business Development at Infineon Technologies. Vikram, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, today we'll be talking about the OEM's fast-changing landscape. Let's get started. So, Vikram, could you talk more about this shifting landscape affecting OEMs and also what that means for the wider automotive industry?
Sure. So I think, let me start with a quote. I think Mary Barra said this a few years ago, that the automotive industry is going through a transformation and a change that is greater than the change that has happened in the last 50 years is going to happen in the next 5 years. So I paraphrased there. So essentially, there is going to be a huge amount of change in the automotive industry, especially in terms of the technologies that are coming along and also the way they develop and go to market.
And this, as you say, is a very profound change. And thinking about more targeted effects, how this changing paradigm affect semiconductor companies such as Infineon?
So in terms of elements such as the software-defined vehicle and also the decision-making of where semiconductor designs were chosen, traditionally this has been in the tier one landscape, and now the OEMs for certain critical semiconductor designs have decided to move that decision-making upstream to the OEMs. Now, obviously, this means that the semiconductor value chain has to change its approach and obviously increase the level of conversation and the frequency of conversation with those OEMs to make sure we have the right products to enable the technologies like these new architectures with software-defined vehicles, like electrification and like digitalization.
Very interesting. And I found it interesting that you mentioned electrification. So, in your opinion, is this shift somehow accelerating electrification and also advancements in autonomy?
Absolutely. I think most of the OEMs have realized that the time to market needs to accelerate and the development times need to decrease. So traditional development cycles have been in the range of 3 to 4 years traditionally. Now what we're seeing is things coming down to 18 months. And this requires a radical rethink. I think in terms of architecture, you need to add that flexibility up front. Obviously, you're increasing compute power, and on the electrification side, you're going to new technologies such as silicon carbide and gallium nitride to increase power density and efficiency. So this, in turn, pushes us to be faster and basically make the right decisions in terms of technology, design, and capacity investments at the right time.
It's a great point. And I was just wondering how you think that this shifting business models is enabling or accelerating the transition towards software-defined vehicles and changes in the vehicle electric and electronic architecture.
So I think just the very nature of the fact now the OEMs are going one step deeper into the design before they would traditionally give the requirements for an ECU, electronic control unit. Now they're actually defining and helping design some of the semiconductor elements. And I think this ensures that we have the right systems for what they need in their development cycle. Before, we had another layer to go through, and maybe the focus was not quite perfecting it for that particular OEM. Now we truly understand what they need, and hopefully as time develops, we can accelerate and enable their acceleration. So about your about the question about enabling shifting business models, my colleagues will discuss this further in 2 different sections, one about software-defined vehicle architectures and the other about partnership ecosystems.
Fantastic. Vikram, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time today. And I hope you all enjoyed this discussion with Infineon about OEM's fast-changing landscape. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.